All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our main event. I'm so excited to have him up. He is a guy I have carpooled with many a times. He is a graduate of the United Methodist School for Lay Ministry. He is one of the lay leaders here at First United Methodist Church. He's a Sunday school teacher. He's an all-around good guy, and he's wearing a much better shirt than he would normally wear. Please give it up for Shane Waltz.
It's burning. It's burning really bad.
Do you want to tell everybody why you've decided to dress appropriately for church today?
Well, first of all, John, I just want to impress you. I mean, that's the main reason it is, just to impress you. No. The main reason is because me and another youth leader, Jeremy Loria, we had a little bet last week on the Iowa State game, and he said if Iowa State won, he'd win if Iowa State won, he'd wear an Iowa State shirt. If Iowa won, he'd wear an Iowa shirt. So we all know the outcome of that game and why I'm wearing this. So if anybody wants this shirt for free afterwards, they can have it. Yeah, I'm giving it away.
I will say, if it's not weird to say, it smells really nice.
Thanks.
It smells really nice.
It's cologne I'm wearing, I think.
Yeah. It's like high-class cologne. None of that like Axe body spray. Like he smells like an adult.
Yeah.
He's not an adult, but he smells like
Yeah. It's a step up from Stetson.
So well, Shane, we've brought you on. We're in the middle of doing a series on the 7 deadly sins and talking about how sin impacts our life. And I don't know if you got a chance to see the bulletin on Sunday, but the headline was, "How lazy is Shane?"
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, it's a loaded question, but it's a good question. If you'd ask my wife, she would say, lazy. Yeah, way lazy. No, it kind of depends where I'm at. At work, I work very hard. I'm a very hard worker. Here at church, I do a pretty good job. When I'm at home, I would say I'm very, very lazy. I love naps. I love laying in my man cave and being on electronics and taking more naps. So yeah, it's great. I mean, my life is pretty action-packed. I can tell you that. So
you would say when you get home, that's when your slothness or your slothnicity really shows up.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of weird because I like to separate work from home life, and so I told Tabitha, my wife, I say, give me 15 minutes, just kind of make that separation. I'll just be in the room by myself and just kind of make that separation because I don't like intermingling, work stuff with home life and home life with work stuff. But sometimes that 15 minutes goes a little bit longer to like maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So I need to do a better job of controlling that, I think. So.
See, I'm glad that my wife's not here and that she's putting Avery to bed, because if she listened to you say exactly what you said, she would be staring at me, just glaring and going,
Yeah.
So we're kind of one in the same.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'm going to say that you're worse.
Yes, I am worse.
I'm going to say that
well, of course, there always has to be somebody worse than you.
Yeah, I would say that you're worse than me.
Yeah.
I think that's a appropriate and loving thing to say.
Yeah.
That I'm better than you.
Yeah.
I think that's.
I'm not to the point where you have to put a mirror in my nose or anything like that, but I think I'm getting there. I think I'm striving to be the best I can. So,
so Shane, we're talking about being a sloth, and we're going to laugh quite a bit because it's us and it's you. But when we talk about the deadly sins and we list off the 7 and we get to sloth, it's kind of a loaded question, but why is it, do you think, sloth has made it on this list of the most deadly sins?
Well, I think, God wants the best of us. He wants everything that we have, and I don't think that we can give him the best that we are when we are laying around watching TV, on the electronics, not helping our neighbors, not trying to grow closer to him by praying, reading the scripture. I think that it takes a lot of work, to be a follower of Christ, and I think when we don't do those things, and we get lazy and get sloth-like and stuff, I think that's we're not giving him the best that we are, and I think that's what he deserves because he's given us everything. So I mean, I think that's probably why it's a deadly sin in my eyes. So.
I kind of look at it as if God has called you and left you a voicemail, or he's texted you and you've read it, but you've turned on your read receipts as if he won't know that you've read the message, and you're like, I'll get to it later. I'll get it later.
Yeah.
Because you've mentioned, and I can't say I'm much different. I get home from work and I'm like, just leave me.
Yeah.
But it stretches. What do you think harm-wise is being done, not just to yourself but your family, when that attitude plays out every day?
And that's probably the hardest part and the one I feel most guilty about. Like my wife, she okay, let's put it this way. I'm going to kind of make this a little long. When I was growing up, I had a stay-at-home mom. And so my mom, she took care of us kids, and she took care of the family. She took care of the house. She cooked. She cleaned. She did all that stuff. And so I think I'm kind of a product of that sometimes. I can't really blame it on that, but I think that's some of it. I think some of it is just I have a very physical job because I do work at John Deere. And so when I get home, I'm exhausted. And I think I deserve this downtime because I'm so exhausted. But those are just minute compared to what really is. I think I'm just being selfish, to be completely honest with you. Tabitha, she goes to work just like I do. She's probably more mentally drained than I am because she works with students all day and stuff. But she comes back and she's the one cooking and she's cleaning and and making sure everything is right and stuff. And when she asks me for help, a lot of times I just say no, and it's bad. It's really bad. I know I need to step up, because a lot of these times when I'm laying in my bedroom on the iPad or I'm watching TV, I could be connecting with my wife, or I could be connecting with my kids, or I could be helping around the house so she's not as stressed, So it's kind of a disservice to her, and I'm a product, and I'm a product in working a progress. I'm working on it, So it's really hard, and I know I need to get out of there and do those things. It's just breaking out of that mold. I think is really, really hard. So.
Well, I think it's balance, right? When I think of Sloth, a lot of times, right, wrong, or indifferent, I think of the story of Mary and Martha, the parable of Mary and Martha, and here you have, it's Martha that's doing all the work, right?
Yeah.
Right? Martha's the hard worker. Martha's the one that's cooking, right?
Yep.
And so Martha's, getting this meal ready, all the, Jesus and the disciples were, Martha's getting the meal ready. She's cleaning. She's doing all this. And then there's Mary, and Mary's just sitting at the foot of Christ. And a lot of times, I'm going to say that you're a Mary and Tabitha's a Martha. And a lot of times, the Marthas read this parable, right? And they're like, oh, I can't stand Mary. She gets rewarded for being nothing. She's a lazy piece of crap. She didn't do anything to help out. And Jesus is all, oh, yeah, Mary's fine. And she is not fine. But I look at that story and I think you can find balance. Because Mary, we assume Mary's just sitting down, but she's taking in Christ's word, assuming to prepare her to just serve in a different way. What would you say when you do get up and help? Because I know you have to help sometimes, or you wouldn't still be married.
Yeah, well, that is true. I do help sometimes.
What do you think your attitude is when you are helping?
I don't. I think the reason why I do it is just because I get in these moods every once in a while where I just have to do it. I don't know why. For a long time, I'll just be sloth-like, and then all of a sudden, I'll be out of it, and I'll start doing. I do a lot with the finances and stuff, and I do the snow blowing in the wintertime and stuff. So it's not like I don't do anything. I do some things, but not as much as Tabitha does. But I think, a marriage needs to be, a balance, and I think you need to work together, and that includes everything in the house and stuff. Discipline your children, finances, helping the house, because you're both living in it, so you both should be taking care of it. So I think that's a lot of it. So it's amazing, you can spend an hour in front of TV or an hour in front of an iPad, time flies, but spending an hour in the Bible, I mean, that's like, a lot of people think that's like pulling teeth, and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird about how priorities are and stuff like that. So
How we view how much time we have, because I was poking you a little bit with the Martha and Mary story. I had the privilege of preaching at Jessup on that parable, and I was like, I'm a Mary, so like, of course I'm like, yeah, sitting and just listening to God sounds awesome. Cleaning is terrible, but I think one of the themes that's in that story that maybe isn't quite obvious is when Martha is doing all of the work. She's got a very selfish view. It's all about her and what she's going through and what she's experiencing, and that's kind of like how maybe you view. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. And when Mary is sitting at the foot of God, it's not just so she can get out of work. It's so she can have a different mindset. So when she becomes filled with Christ's word and she does get up to serve, she's serving with a different heart that's not about her. And I think that's what us sloths run into. I feel like if I interview everybody, I'm basically going to run the gamut on how awful I am as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to focus more on you. I'm perfect.
Thanks.
It's mostly Shane. He's the wrong one. But
we'll have to ask Abby that.
it's that balance of when you're helping, it's not about you and what you're going through. It's about loving your wife and your family the way Christ loves you, and serving with that heart. Have you ever felt pulled in that direction when you are in those moods when you're helping?
Yeah. I mean, I get in those moods every once in a while, and I think I'm getting better at it. But there's just certain things I just don't do, like the dishes. I just do not like doing dishes. It's the worst thing ever. I mean, putting your hands in dirty, filthy water. I don't. You'll never see me do dishes. So. I don't know about that. but I mean, there's some things I like doing. I like vacuuming, and I like keeping the house tidy. I do the shredding and recycling and all that stuff. So I'm kind of more of like a neat freak in the way I just kind of keep these little piles all over the house, so everyone knows where their piles are and stuff like that. And but they're nice, neat piles, So I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. So. I mean, they're great. I mean, that's what I think. So.
I mean, the picture you're describing to me is like some people have like nice hedges on their property.
Yeah.
You're like shaping weeds.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But weeds are plants too.
You're like braiding dandelions.
But dandelions have so many good uses. It's amazing. So, but yeah, it's just. I do feel a lot better about myself when I am helping around the house, and especially, just not for me, just for Tabitha, and plus it's a good thing to show the kids, that both of us are helping out and stuff, and that's one thing that I really want to impress upon my kids is that, we're in this together and we need to help each other, and I think it's important that they see that, so when they end up getting married and stuff, that they'll know what it means to, be a giver rather than a taker,
So to wrap up, in what ways, Shane, do you think you can lean on God more? Because obviously you don't just stop being lazy because you just decide to be lazy.
Yeah.
I think most people that come to church, and most people in general in life, have realized that you don't accomplish much by yourself. So what do you think you can do to lean on God more, to actually commit to making a positive change? So I don't have to invite you back next year to talk about the same thing.
I do a lot. I mean, I do a lot of praying. I always pray to God that, He talks to me and pulls me in the right direction. And I think a lot of times He is pulling on my the strings of my heart and telling me to do things, but I think I choose to ignore it. But I think if I listen to God more, and I think if I really act to what He's trying to lead me and stuff, I think it'll be a lot better. I just need to stop being so selfish and do what he knows is right and what I know is right, and I think everything will be great. So I think a lot of prayer is always a good answer. So
I think prayer is a good answer too, and I think putting this on videotape so Tabitha can play this back.
Yeah, that's probably not a good answer.
She's going to use it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure. So.
Well, Shane, I want to thank you for coming on and talking about it. I know it's hard to talk to a group of people and say, yeah, I'm not great.
We all have faults, right? I mean,
we all have flaws. And
like when you came to me and say, hey, which of these deadly sins do you want you to do? I said, I can do them all. So I mean that's the thing. I'm not perfect, and I know it. I mean, I'm always trying to make progress and stuff, and so I can't really judge anybody else because I know I've fallen short, and it's just through the grace of God that He's given me the great life I have, and I owe it to Him, to be the best that I can be for me and my family. So.
Absolutely. Well, Shane, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you sharing flaws in your life and your story of trying to fix them, and I hope that can be inspiration for somebody else that might have a hard time owning up themselves, maybe somewhere they're falling short, and I'll be praying for you if you pray for me that flawed individuals like us have a chance to get better and maybe do the dishes at some point.
Maybe one dish. One dish.
I think Tabitha would take one dish. And I think you will take multiple applause. Please give it up for Shane Waltz, ladies and gentlemen.
This has been a broadcast of the First United Methodist Church in Cedar Falls. We're glad you joined us. We're here to help you on your journeys of life and faith. We gather for worship services and classes, support groups, and just for fun groups, and you're welcome at any one of them. Just show up and say, "Hi, I'm new here," and we'll take it from there. You can learn more about our church at aboutfirst.com, and you can follow us on Facebook and YouTube too. If you can't make it in person, we'll be right here on your TV at this same time next week. We'll see you then.